Good morning, everyone. Hannah here. I thought I would take you along with some of our daily tasks because my husband has a really big work project that he's working on, so he hasn't been around as much for some of the Homestead projects, but we'll get back to those soon. Today we're going to be making breakfast. We'll be making smoothies for breakfast, and this is one of our favorite summertime smoothies. It's cold and refreshing, and you can pack a lot of good, yummy stuff in there, and my kids all love them, and so do I, and so they're easy to get going for busy days. And today happens to be one of those wonderful busy days because we have to get into town for a chiropractor appointment, and then we're having a picnic lunch with some people we're meeting up with. And the boys are ending the day with baseball. So it's a busy day. We need lots of energy. So yeah, let's go. This is our basic fruit-based smoothie. We have this one a lot because everybody seems to really enjoy it. And they're just stuff that we happen to have on hand in the freezer anytime we're using berries. You can really use pretty much any kind of berries. Today we're using frozen strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. We are adding bananas. Usually I add 2 bananas, but today I'm adding 3 because these are kind of small, and the bananas just really help it to be delicious and sweet and creamy. We fill it up with this frozen fruit. Doesn't really matter what order you add them in, but I like to add the bananas first, then the frozen fruit. We like to add fresh sprouts. We've been growing these and sprouting them out on our counter, which is just so wonderful to have. Even through the winter, you get that fresh, crisp, green goodness in your diet that you don't have necessarily from your garden. You keep it in front of a window. We love sprouts because they're so nutrient dense. They're so good for you, and you don't have to eat a ton of them to get all of the wonderful benefits of them. You can add some collagen peptide powder. I really like this Anthony brand. You can't really taste it, and it's really good for your skin and bone and cartilage. Good for your gut health too. We also like to add ground flaxseed and chia seeds. Sometimes we can add hemp seed, sesame seeds, whatever you have. All of those are really good. If any of these flavors are new to you in your family, just start with a small amount, just a pinch, anything to just start getting you used to it, and you can still receive a lot of the good health benefits. We've been doing this for a long time, and so as far as the smoothie goes, we don't really have picky eaters. We had some leftover frozen spinach that I'm just going to throw some of that in here. Like I said, you can just start with a little bit. Whatever you have works really well. We also like to add kale sometimes, but I ran out of that, so we're just doing the spinach today. We have this carrot ginger juice that we just grabbed from the store, and this beet juice that's organic. We love both of these. They're really healthy, got vitamin A and C, and they're good for you, good for your liver, good for your gut. So we're just going to add these in here. We fill it up about halfway, so about 1/4 with the carrot and 1/4 with the beet. And then we are just going to top it off with our apple juice. If you want it a little thinner, you can add more apple juice. If you like it a little thicker, maybe for a smoothie bowl, you can add less apple juice. The apple juice really helps to mix it all together, give it that really sweet finished taste. So I don't recommend using the apple juice. We are really blessed and fortunate to have beautiful apple trees on our property, and in the fall we're able to just use our fresh apple juice, apple cider that we have grown and processed, but it's summertime and we didn't store any last year, so we're just using store-bought, and that's okay too. I do recommend you grabbing organic and look for straight apples. Don't have any added sugar. It's not necessary. Apple juice is sweet enough as is. These are really delicious, naturally sweetened with all of the fruit. All right, we're gonna pour it up in glasses, and straws always make things easier. Hi, buddy. I have a little helper. Hi, buddy. Do you want to help Mama pour? Can you hold it? Can you help Mama hold it? Thank you. Thank you, baby. Can you put the straw in? Perfect. Yep, for Bubba too. Thank you. All right, now we're gonna just put them on the table and call the boys down for breakfast. Smoothies are nutritious as they are, and if you're really in a hurry and just have to get out the door, the smoothies are great just to brush afterwards, because sometimes you can get that smoothie smile. So just give a brush before you go out the door. But if you're gonna sit down for breakfast, enjoy it with an eggy muffin, blueberry muffin, just a little something to carry us through the day till lunchtime, especially on busy days with lots of activity. Boys, time for breakfast. Before we head out, my husband is going to go get some of the gluten-free bread going in our bread maker, which is the best, totally recommended bread maker. There's nothing like the smell of fresh baked bread, and you can have this anytime with the bread maker. It's really easy, doesn't really need to be babysat. So he's going to get that going while I help get the kids out the door and in the car.
Okay, so this is pretty simple. We just do 3 cups of flour. We use gluten-free flour, King Arthur brand. Then we'll do about 3 tablespoons of sugar. About a teaspoon of salt. Don't want to overdo that, but you also don't want to skip that. We've got these Fleischmann's instant bread machine yeast. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of that. Grab a little pot. We're going to melt some butter in it and warm up some water and milk. We'll use either almond milk or rice milk. And when our goats are in milk, we use goat milk. We'll do 4 tablespoons of butter right in there with half a cup of milk and half a cup of water. Going to heat that up. You don't want it to get too hot or it will kill your yeast. So just to the point where the butter is getting really soft and you can kind of mix it all together. Once that's melted, you just put it right into your dry mixture. You're going to crack a couple eggs in it. For this recipe, we're going to use 3 eggs. These are fresh from our farm. And don't forget to compost those shells. We'll mix it all in. I like mixing up from the center and then letting this stuff on the side combine slowly. If you just mix it all at once, it gets kind of clumpy and you get some dry spots in there. So this is a bread machine recipe, but I've found that if we let the bread machine mix it, it doesn't do a good job and it actually ends up flat. It doesn't rise. So we're going to mix this up where everything is combined. Then you just spatula it right out into the bread machine. I usually let it sit for about 15 minutes and then we get it started. But since we are needing to get out the door real quick, I'm just going to pop it in the bread machine and start it up. Smooth it out in there so you get a nice smooth top to your loaf. Pop it in the bread machine. We'll select the bake setting, which bakes it for exactly 1 hour. Boop. And there we are.
We are going to be doing egg sandwiches for lunch today. Again, it's one of our favorites. It's pretty easy to do and it doesn't take much time. We're just going to do some skillet fried eggs in olive oil. This is olive oil with some herbs and garlic in it. Just pour this in the pan and crack our eggs in it. Then we'll heat them up. We're using our fresh baked bread. It's gluten-free for our sandwiches. Today we're going to toast the bread on a skillet and just going to butter the bread. We are allergic to cow milk and dairy, or intolerant, some of my family members, so we just use this dairy-free butter. You could also use ghee or whatever works for you. Butter the breads. Cook it on the skillet. When those are done, we like to do a layer of mayonnaise and then some of our sprouts. We'll get the egg on there. These are just broccoli, chia, and radish sprouts, and we like having these on sandwiches. They're good with eggs. These sprouts are a little bit earthy tasting, a little bit leafy, but they also have that fresh green sharpness of the radish. Some might not like the kind of spiciness of the radish. You can get some without that if you prefer, but it's a really, really mild broccoli taste. Our family really enjoys it on sandwiches. We also enjoy having avocado with our sandwiches, and these little sealed packets make it great for a picnic lunch like today. Because we're going to be out and about and running and playing today, we're going to bring our lunch with us. We've got some carrots, some nuts, apples, and some orange juice to go with it. We're gonna go jump in the car, go over to the park and play baseball, meet up with our friends. After such a fun, busy day running around outside, we like to just unwind. And tonight the kids asked, instead of story time, if we could just do a board game. And so we're gonna do a family board game. Tonight we're playing Oregon Trail, which is a quite involved setup. A little bit complicated, but once you get it all set up and going, it's pretty fun. And if you homeschool, you can even tie it into a lot of historical stories, but it's really fun and it's pretty straightforward that the kids can play. Definitely need help getting used to the rules and stuff, but once we've gone over all of that, they can play it pretty independently. So we're gonna finish up here and hope you all have a good night.